All right, I think like we're good. We're good to start. We're good to go. Hey, everyone, testing. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Just waiting here for the FOMC interest rate decision from the Fed to see what we got going on, right? So I'm just waiting to see what's up with this Fed news. The moves that we'll get from the Fed. So I'm just waiting for that to see what we have happening right now. Hey guys, I'm just sharing the link for the. Hey guys, so yeah, welcome back. Yeah, so currently we don't really have anything going on. Market's basically just kind of ranging. Well, not really ranging, but we're just waiting until the initial move for the FOMC and as well as for the Fed data to come out from interest rate decision. So currently we're just in the waiting phase for that news release, right? So we do have around 25 minutes again until that Fed news release. Um, Trades I'm looking at to possibly get into. Well, we did get into a trade right here on JPY, this continuation. Expecting price to actually continue further downwards. Um, with the release, expecting that to be a catalyst. But just to be on the safe side, what I'll do right now is just put my stop loss around, right around the entry level. So at least this would be a risk-free trade. And well, if we do hit all the way to TP, then that's great. If not, then we just come out with, a slight loss. If we do get any slippage or anything like that. Um, Other trades I'm looking at, took a 80 card trade as well. My stop loss is right above this level here, right? I did end on this red candle here as it was forming, and now I'm just looking to see this being maintained overall as the zone above this level. So this actually is supposed to, let me just make a second copy of that, right? So something like this is what I have going on here, right? And I'm just waiting to see price actually if we get a continuation of that back downward, so whatever the case may be from this, right? I do expect like the card to basically rally with the USD strength, so that's what I'm looking forward to right now. Other things to take note of: 80 USD. This is a pullbacks that I was talking about, right? So as price came into this level, we would get pullbacks before the actual news. So currently just waiting around, as we come down to completing the full hour, and the Fed release does come out, I'll probably look to get in somewhere around here on this trade and then look for a continuation move downwards, right? So this right here, we could get more of a pullback with this right here. Will be the area that I'm looking to possibly enter for those USD for that USD news, because we haven't priced in that data yet, right? Despite what we're seeing right now with the price action, we haven't really priced in that USD interest rate as yet. So we could expect to see that massive move to the downside as the news does come out. So that's like the main focus for me right now, kind of profiting off of that news as best as possible. And one way to do that, we just actually have to wait to see, have to wait for that interest rate decision. So we closed the last half an hour so far. So this is the next half hour candle that we are waiting on for this to continue form. We're pulling back into that level here. You can see on the 30-minute. All right, so this looks like the possible area where we could get into. Price might pull back some more, which is why I'm just not entering as yet. But if I do take this trade, this is where I'll most likely have everything set up. So that's the entry point. This all the way down here, because we could get a very large significant move from this, right? And the stop loss right above this level. Now price doesn't have to actually move all the way down, because we do have other things in focus, right? So we talked about having inflation being the main header, as well as this interest rates as being called out, right? um we could expect to see that movement downwards, because as interest rates come out more positive, that's really bullish for the dollar or whatever currency you are looking at. However, again, depending on what we have from the Fed press conference in the next 30 minutes after the initial release here, it would either help price continue that movement down, or it might just make an entire reversal. So that is just something that you should pay note to, and something that I'll keep in mind as well as we enter a possible trade setup here. So I'm going to take this trade. Um, where price is currently at, yeah, I'll take a trade right around this area, right? And these are my levels. I'll extend this a little bit above the area here. We don't 1 to 6, right? We're risking around 2% on this trade. So this is the trade I'm going to take. And just enter my MT5 and place that trade with 22, around 23 pip stop loss. All right, so I'm just going to enter this trade on my platform. All right, so I'm entering a sell position on this. All right, leaving that as is. Anything else right now? No, nothing of wood. Let me just send this trade idea out to everybody. Alright, so the trade setup, send this idea out to everybody who's in the VIP Telegram, the VIP group. Just waiting for that for the news to actually play out. So it's just a waiting game. We have 20 minutes left here. So all these charts, everything just lining up ahead of time for that news, right? Price might pull back a little bit here. All right. And continue moving onwards. Not really much to take note of. Right now, anything that I'm looking at as well, like I said, I was paying only attention to the AD, the NZD as well. As it comes to to terms of the news, I am expecting a move to happen on the GP, JPY as well, possibly a pushy downside. But if I'm wrong on this, we do have that break even stuff to basically, stop us out in case our bias on this is it goes against us. Let's just take a look at the DXY, right? So the DXY, like I said, we might probably set up back into that level, right? So price could just coming down to the last hour, the last 18 minutes here. Price could just completely come all the way back down into this level, right? And then we just see a huge spike up. So it's just a waiting game to see what happens right now. But this is something like the expectancy that we could potentially see, or maybe price might just start moving from here as well. And when the news does come out, we just see that massive spike to the upside. All right. Now it's kind of tricky to note like where price would go, just because overall we've seen constantly, right? As interest rates come out, as news come out positively, we might see price move in a bearish tone or a bearish manner, right? So I don't really want to call exactly what to expect, what's going to happen. I don't want to talk in absolutes, but looking at it overall, right? We have our probabilities. One, that in such a case like this here with the 80 USD, right? Overall, we have those bearish pushmen, those bearish moves, sorry, right? Price was continuing with this push down, this pulse, this kind of pulse and push down. So all this, like all this bearish tone that we see here, basically signifies to me that we're basically prepping for that move to the downside for interest rates, right? That being said, we could possibly see the rates come out an initial spike to the upside and then downwards. So if you want to be somebody that more conservative in your trading, what you could do is take the trade or set a sell stop, sell limit right below this level, right? Because we do have multiple wick rejections from here, right? As the candle close, if we're going to continue moving to the downside, then price will just push past this area and maintain that sort of bearishness, right? And once we get that close below here, that just gives more of a likelihood for a continuation moving downwards. But with that being said, it's all about how much impact this news event does have, right? But this would be the more ideal sort of setup for anybody that wants to be a little bit more conservative with their trading, right? So that's just something that you should keep in mind if you are looking to go and trade FOMC, the conference, as well as the interest rates decision. All right. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. We have 15 minutes again. So we're just looking and waiting right now. All the other charts, really nothing much to note. From the previous live stream again, before earlier on, price did come into this level here on the CAD CHF, and we actually rejected this level, right? So we actually maintained this level more. I expected it to kind of fall through probably, but yeah, price actually maintained that level. So we might get continuation moves to the upside with the FOMC data coming out. But I don't want to, again, I don't want to call anything, right? It doesn't make sense trying to call anything. But in terms of like the technical analysis, what we're seeing right now, yeah, it does look like it has some probability to see price swing back to the upside, right? Um, Again, we retested that area, we maintained it, price pushed against it, so we could get that continuation move back up, right? Especially when we have all this noises with rejection right here. So once we saw price actually maintain that, yeah, it does look like we could get a solid continuation from here, back to the upside, right? This swing to the upside. We can see that we do have this sort of a bullish movement. I bet not the clearest, not the cleanest, but yeah, we do have some good structures forming. So that is something that could possibly play out with the interest rates being the sort of catalyst to see that price movement. All right. But yeah, not talking in absolutes. Anything could really happen. Price will just wake up, wake back down. All sort of craziness happens during times of interest rate decision, especially from the Fed, right? Because they're the world's reserve currency. So yeah, whatever happens here has a lot of impact. All right, right here in Euro USD as well. Price from the support. We have that pullback forming right now. So at this point, we may see seller stepping in right here. Good sell entry, right? Just to see price come from here. We swing down, right? And we just continue rallying down, right? So that is something that has a lot of potentiality to play out too, providing that price action does do what we expect with the interest rate coming out. We haven't priced in anything right now as of yet, as to my knowledge, because markets are forward thinking. Therefore, in terms of like when we have interest rate decisions or something that's highly expected, we might see that information being priced in beforehand, and that's why in a lot of cases what happens sometimes is when you do have the interest rates come out and it's come out as expected, you'll see the price does nothing, or you see a complete reversal because that data has already been priced into the market, right? So like let's just say in case for example, right, let's say that this bearish candle here was the data of that interest rate decision being at being increased to 4%, was already priced in, right? Let's say this was priced in, and that's why we saw this bearish push down, right? Now if it comes out as true, then we could just possibly get a whole push back up into this level, right? Because priced already took that data. We already took that data and we converted that to what we see on the charts here, right? So we got that movement already. But however, I don't think this is the case, right? I'm just using this as an example as to, why price does what it does sometimes, right? So that being said, price could just be, after this forms here, rates come out as expected, boom, it just flicks up, and then you have to wait for the FOMC press conference just to get more of a clearer sort of a understanding the tone of the US dollar, right? Understanding where we could possibly see the dollar heading moving forward. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is like the data being priced in. So I do think we should see a continued movement to the downside. That is what I'm expecting. I think that's what anybody will be expecting right now with how highly hawkish the Fed has been. So we're waiting and see. We're waiting to see. Um, JPY. So this actually came up a little bit right here, right? I'm still looking keen for those continuations, but I like to see price actually reject this area, right? I don't want to if it pushes past up this area, then I'll probably just take close up my position early instead of letting it hit all the way to my stop loss at break even, right? So yeah, just waiting right now. Yeah, about like 10 more minutes just to see what price does. After that, we have some AD news as well as tomorrow. As well, we do have the interest rate decisions for the BOE, which I think is going to be a little bit lackadaisical, not really going to have much movement from that. But again, anything could happen. I wouldn't be trading this though. I don't think I'll be really taking any trades like that tomorrow, maybe for the rest of the week, right? Because I mean, after that, all we have is the NFP being the main mover for Friday, and we have some card news, but NFP really being the main focus, the main driver, right? And especially if the numbers does come out bullish for the USD right now, and then for Friday, NFP comes out negative or at this point, which is a lot lower than the previous, then we might get a reversal on the US dollar, right? So from that bullishness on the US dollar, we might just see this as a pullback opportunity to continue longs, right? Um, but yeah, this will be like probably the point at which point you could get like a pullback trade, sort of if that's in like if that's something that you implement in your trading, right? So trading pullbacks or something like that, you might get that during that NFP news data. All right, so just waiting to see. Okay, so thank you for those that have joined. Feel free to leave a like, right? Feel free to leave a like. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Because this is gonna be something that we continue doing, right? I'm gonna try to be doing this more regular, helping those in the trading community understand more about trading and stuff, especially with the fundamental analysis of it all. All right, and I'll try posting more about fundamental stuff as well. Right. So anybody trading NFP as well as the interest rate decision? Anybody? You guys trading it or nah? And what are you guys doing? Let me know in the chat. Or are you just observing what's going to happen for interest rate decisions here to see how nicely price is just pulling back, right? So we just waking up some really strong pullbacks there, right? Some pretty strong pullbacks, right? So you guys trading interest rates or just leaving it alone, you know? Because nothing's wrong with leaving the interest rates alone. Yes, NFP spreads do widen a lot. But I think like recently since like September, October, like probably from around August, NFP at least from what my platform IC Markets, it really hasn't widened that much. but a lot of the currency cross pairs I trade, I don't really trade the US dollar that much, right? You guys will know from the trades that I send and whatnot that it's usually something other than the dollar. I don't really like trading the dollar because I find it's like too manipulated, right? Um, so I tend to trade other currency assets. Um, but I've noticed that we didn't really get much movement from NFP from the other times. So I don't know. Maybe it's because we in the fourth quarter and there's low volume and stuff like that. That's what I've realized on my end. But I don't know. Maybe it depends on your broker that you're using, right? But for me, the spreads haven't really widened like that in order for it to be like an issue to not trade NFP. But overall, it's just been choppy. If I remember correctly, NFP didn't really give much of anything for the past couple of months, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe it's because we're in low volume situation. Businesses closed and whatnot. Maybe from starting from next year, January, February, we'll start seeing more movements from NFP as usual. And hopefully, when the economy overall, the global economy recovers and things get back to what we could call normal, then things in the market may pick back up and maybe a little smoother. Because let me tell you something, if you're able to trade the current markets that we are in from 2019, late 2019, throughout 2020, 2021, 2022, if you're able to trade that and be profitable from trading that, with all this weirdness, all this news, all this, volatility, and all these other fundamental factors and a lot of stuff, we lived through a lot of historical stuff throughout these couple of years, right? So if you're able to trade that, I think once the markets recover, inflation comes back down, and all of that good stuff, then yeah, you're gonna be in for a nice ride because then things are gonna be a lot smoother to navigate. At least from 2018, 2017, how things were before, it wasn't this tough. At least from my experience, it wasn't this tough at all. Probably because more focus on CPI and inflation now, whereas the job number used to be the big driver. Yes, right, exactly, right. So we have all these other these major things being more in play, more in focus, looking, you know, being looked at more heavily. So that's probably why NFP really didn't do much. We didn't really see much movement from that. But yeah, once the economy recovers, hopefully we get there soon. Things gonna be, yeah, things gonna be different, right? I believe things will be a lot smoother for a lot of new traders, or at least the people that start traded throughout this market environment where everything's just wild, right? Markets was just wild, right? So if you're able to trade throughout this, then yeah, once that recovery hits, it's gonna be like free money just being given out. Like Mark is just saying, "Hey guys, I sorry, you had it real tough. Really wasn't my fault, but you know what? I'm trying to make it up to you guys. Here's some free money. Here's some free movements. You can see I'm moving in this direction. Yeah, take the trade. No gimmicks. No kind of tricks. Yeah, just making money, making cash. Use those Lambos lot size, and yeah, you'll start profiting like crazy, and you'll be like, wow, trading was this easy? And it's like, no, nah, trading is not that easy. You just traded in like one of the most difficult times there was to trade, and now everything else just looks like baby food. Everything just looks like super easy. Um, but yeah, trading itself, it is simplistic in nature, and the only thing that you really that's keeping you back, at least from my perspective, and when it comes to people that new in the trading space, is understanding what trades that you should take as well as your own psychology, right? So revenge trading, trading with emotions, um, when you put your money to risk and stuff like that, and you see it in red, that plays with the emotions or like your judgment making, your thinking skills, and it's like, oh no, well, I need to come out of this now, or I should extend my stop because as price moves up, yeah, this looks like the area where it's gonna start driving down from and stuff like that, right? And you put yourself in that sort of you limit yourself by doing things like that, right? So by discipline, if you have great discipline or something like that, I think trading would be a lot more easier for you from the get go, right? If you're somebody that disciplined already, or if you build that on your psychology and you understand that, okay, it has its inherent risk, but at the same time, as you're risking, right, you could also gain from it. Now, the best thing about trading is you don't need to trade 24/7. You don't need to trade every single day, right? You can look for those good setups that comes once in a while or whatever the case may be, and you take those, and yeah, you're able to double your account. You're able to grow it by maybe 25%, 50%, whatever the case is, and you're gradually able to scale that, right? As your account grow, you're able to take bigger position sizes, and as that happens, you're able to scale even more. And that is the wonderful thing about compounding, right? So yeah, a lot of people they quit. They really want to start, drawing it out. They really want to start making money immediately and stuff like that. And that is what the prospects of trading are. You can't see that I'm doing this, but I'm air quoting. That's what the like prospects of trading are: making millions of dollars, rather simplistically, and just living your life how you want to, and the freedom that you get from it. And that's great and all. But at the same time, it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's something that takes time. It takes discipline. You need to treat trading like a business. The same way that you go to school to get a degree, for how much ever years you study and stuff like that. You put a little time in this, put a little focus. You don't have to stick for years learning how to do it, right? You could get it down in 3 months, 6 months, if it takes you that long. If you're a slow learner or whatever the case may be, and eventually you're able to actually push yourself forward even more just by keeping that discipline, finding a strategy that works for you, etc. Right. But yeah, trading really is, if you're trading right now, then when things recover, I really think that you'll be doing like um a lot better, right? Especially if you're struggling right now too. So we have just a few seconds, 20 seconds left until the interest rate decision does come out. Let's just look at it. It's 18 seconds. Oof. My heart is pumping fast, guys, because I'm risking. I'm going full margin. I'm risking everything. All right. I'm kidding. What we do have, looking for this price just to drive down. Whether we see that happen or not, we'll see in the next few seconds here. All right, price come out, data come out. Did we get any movements? Let's see what we get here. Let's price pushing up. All right, so price pushed up initially. And now let's see what we're doing. We're falling. Let's see. Okay, so it's loading up here. Right, so we got that push up, like I talked about initially, what we might see happening. So I do think we did come out at the normal 4%, right? We get that 75% increase. That's 75 base point increase, right? Right, so we came out at that 4%. Price pushing up, guys. Right. So yeah, this is probably like what happened too, right? So this was a L here. Let's see what happened on the other charts. Right, GP, JPY. Right, so price initially pushed down, and now we're coming back into that resistance area, right? So I'm still gonna hold this one, right? Because I do believe that from this initial push, that we could just see price actually come back down. So I'm gonna hold this for now. This as well, JP, CHF. Right, so we saw that price initially pushed up. Now, is this push up going to continue? Most likely not, right? This is just like the initial movement. As we had the Fed conference come out, I do think that we will get a correction of this move, and then price continues moving downward. We did get that, we did get interest rate coming out at that 4%, right? So it was as the same as the consensus. We get that 75 base point increase. However, we're seeing that price now is actually moving against the dollar, right? So this could be because of a reason, a number of things. Maybe it could be because one, the data is already priced in. But like I said, I don't think this was from the pricing in of that data, right? I don't think this was the pricing in right now, right? But like let's look at the fact, right? So this could be because maybe the data to get priced in before, right? So as the interest rate come out as expected, we get that initial bullish movement, basically wiping out that from the movement that we got before, right? So the expectancy, right? What we expected, we played that out first, right? Price started just consolidating, ranging right in that area, and we now correcting from that initial movement, right? So this is basically just like having some sort of equilibrium, right? So at this point, I do think that there's a high chance that price could just, in the first 30 minutes, we push up here. Then in the second half, we start seeing the corrections. We start seeing price actually close back into that the initial entry or the initial beginning of the candle, and then we continue to the downside, right? So we'll have to wait and see what happens during the Fed press conference, what sort of information we get out of that, and that might influence price to actually push back down, right? And this is the thing. This is the thing about trading and using like fundamentals when it comes to trading. Just because you have the interest rate coming out, right? And we know that is bullish when rates come out as expected or higher than in previous or whatever the case is, right? We get that interest rate increase. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate immediately on the charts, right? It could be you have to be able and you have to be aware of the technicals as well, right? So this we didn't say that this wasn't a probability, right? This was something that could have happened, right? And we noted that this is something that could have very well potentially happened. In the first half and the second half, we get a continuation back to the downside of the initial bias that we have for this, right? So for me, I would look to get back into entry once price does reach back into this area, right? For a continuation back low, right? I would. This is something that I see, that has a lot of potential to actually play out, especially if we actually reject from this area here. If this candle closes back into this zone, then yeah, that just shows me that all right, that initial move like a fake out, right? And price more likely to continue back to the downside just because we have more selling pressure because we weren't able to continue with that initial bullish push, right? So that's basically it for me right there. So that's what I'm looking for. Um, 80 card, 80 card, 80 card also pushed up, right? So I got stopped out of this. But same thing, right? Same thing. Price, if this doesn't manage to close above these levels here, and we actually push back into here, then yeah, those continuations downwards seems more like a higher probability to actually happen, right? That is just something that I have to expect with price action sometimes. So moving forward, I am still looking to get into sales here, looking to get into sales into here as well. This really doesn't show that the US dollar is weak or anything like that, or that the AD is bullish now or anything like that. It's just how the fundamentals translate to the technical aspects, as well as we have market psychology and all of that in play right now. So it is something that you should keep an eye on, right? But I do think like a lot of people have been looking for the sell opportunities at this point, right? So we just got caught in that mix up of people looking for sells at this area probably, right? Euro USD. Oh, so Euro USD moved quite a bit, right? So this looks nice actually. This looks nice. Yeah, I can see this pulling back. Yeah. So this here actually, yeah, this actually looks like a good probable trade back down to these support levels. So this is something that I may actually get into as well, depending. I don't want to put on too much risk. So I think I'll just stick with the 80 USD really. Right? I don't want to put too much risk on. I want to divide the risk equally as well. So 80 USD, yeah, we'll go back into that. GP See GBP CHF actually coming down a little bit here. So depending on how this candle closes, we could get another entry moving back down into which part the take profit target is for here. All right. Um, GP, JPY, right? Same thing. So price pushed up, then we came back below the support, just resistance level here. Sorry. So that continuation to the downside looks like it's something that's still probable, right? So I'm looking towards seeing that happening. All right, let's see what the DXY did. Ooh, DXY fell straight through. right? And I spoke about this in the previous Zoom, right? That how the initial spike price may come all the way back down into the supportive level, and afterwards we could just see a correction of that movement back to the upside here. So this just reaffirms everything for me to actually take USD longs right now. Um, if we do get a nice solid rejection from here, yeah, this looks like a nice possible entry point. I would be interested in putting actually risk into this, right? Once this is maintained and see price actually recover from this spike down, right? So yeah, I'm still basically being reaffirmed and taking my sell setups on this AD/USD and as well as the AD card setups as well. If we could see price come back down to this level, right? So yeah, that's it basically for me, right? This is all that we have happening thus far. Pretty interesting that we have an initial pullback, by so much, right? Because we didn't really price in anything. I don't think we priced in anything. The initial moves here, I wouldn't call this a pricing of that data. So it's interesting to see that price pull back so much, even though we did get that interest rate increase. So I'll be looking out to see a correction of these movements, right? And well, if we do have that happening, whether we have it happening or if we don't have it happen, then I'll actually post it as a short or something like that to just basically update you guys of what's going on in terms of inside the VIP, and whether this or not we were able to profit off of it after the initial push up and whatnot, right? So I'm looking forward to see what this actually does. All right. We also do have the Fed press conference coming out, right? So this might be the next catalyst that we need to see price actually move back down, in favor of the US dollar and see an overall recovery of the DXY. Um, so yeah, that's something I think is noteworthy as well. All right. So we had that initial fall. I think price will just reject from this level, honestly. If we're looking at it for hour, let's see. Right, so yeah, we're in the last 15 minutes of the current 4 hour candle, right? So we could actually get a good pullback from this area, right? As we come to the candle close, or we could just close into that area and then the next 4 hour candle does correct that total move to the downside, right? So it's up to really see how this hour candle closes, and I'll probably just stick around for the last hour or so just to see what price does. And let's take a look at gold. Ooh, gold just pushed up. This is how much pips. This is 180, around 180 pips. Yeah, price push quite a bit on gold here. Wow. If you're looking at the 15 or 30 minutes, yeah, like see this, I wouldn't have gotten a trade on this at all because there's not really any levels to look at, right? To really pay attention to before the news that did came out. So yeah, gold moved quite a bit. We could get a pullback on this, who knows? Um, but again, it's just waiting to see how that hourly candle closes, right? It'll give us like confirmations as to what to expect moving for the rest of the day, leading down to the ending of the week. US 30 price pushed up. I came back into the zone here on US 30. Just mark it. Alright, so yeah, we came back into the zone on US 30. Maybe price might close above. Who knows? I am looking for an overall just correction of that initial bullish candle. Right? Now it's 100. Now it's 100, same thing, right? We came out of that sort of consolidation, right? Price pushed down, then we push back up. Now we get this rejection, right? A very strong looking rejection here on NAS. So this might be the opportunity to possibly short this, looking for sell continuations to the downside. Now, I'm not gonna add any extra risk to anything, right? I'm not looking to overly risk it this week. We recovered quite a bit from the last week, right? From last week's set of trades, which was like really trash. Was my first losing week, my first official losing week in like 7 months or something like that, right? Was first time actually losing for a week. Um, So yeah, just looking for the recoveries. Recovered pretty solidly thus far, and I'm just looking to continue that with getting best quality setups that we could get. Right. So yeah, I'm not gonna try to rush this because on the off chance that price does continue moving up, like some people don't want to actually get in on this candle and look for those continuations moving back down because you already have your bias and you already have your sort of you have like what you predict price would do, right? Now the thing is we could play with the probabilities. We could say that okay, from here, we could be on the mark that this is just the candle pushing up. Price is going to reject at the second half of the hour, right? And we're just going to close back into the zone, right? We could project that it could happen, but on the off chance that it doesn't and price does continue moving upwards, right? This is why I wouldn't want to get into this trade right now at this point, right? Because price could still actually push even higher, right? Depending on how much the strength bias here against the sellers or the overall trend of what we expect to see happening, right? Price could potentially push all the way back up into this zone here, right? So to avoid an unnecessary loss, you want to look at the next thing that you have control of. We're just looking at the key levels to look for entry points, right? So where you enter if price is to go with your bias, right? So for me, that's if we push back into this zone. Because if we push back into the zone, that means that the buying pressure there, it was a fake out. It means it doesn't exist. It means that we can't see that continuation moving upwards. If we don't close above this area and price does come back into this sort of a zone that we initially had, then that just says to me that okay, yeah, we don't have enough buying pressure to continue upwards. Sellers gonna step in and we're just gonna see price drive through, right? So this is why this area right here is better for me to get a sell setup than actually trying to trade on this one candle that's formed right now, right? So instead of actually entering right now and just risking it, saying, you know what, whatever happens, I think I'm pretty solid that my bias is going to play out. So you enter with that sort of that egotistical outweigh that price is just going to go in your direction. Then nah, you're setting yourself up there, right? So right here would be good for a continuation for me. So that's what I'm looking at, right? Same thing for the 80 USD. Same thing, right? Price pushed up. If we don't get a bullish close outside, then we can see that continuation moving back down. If we do close into this level, continuation moving back down seems more probable as well. Um, with the overall trend that we currently have, if you're looking at the daily, sorry. Right, we are having a very strong downtrend. You can say that price came back into this zone right here, these areas right here, and that's why we having price kind of just doing this sort of a consolidation on the daily time frame right into these areas right here, right? Because basically kind of mirroring this, right? So we could say that, but on the 1 hour, yeah. So you guys know what's going on. On the 1 hour, yeah, if we get that pullback back into that zone, buyers not there, sellers more in control, continuations more highly probable, good entry point for that, right? Instead of trying to trade this one candle on the off chance that you are wrong. Right, and that's basically that I'm looking at, right? Um yeah, that's basically it. We see the price rejecting from this high right here. If this 3P continues downwards, then that'll be really, really great for this trade as well. Because we are risking, we have a lot of trades on this, right? The first initial one here moved quite a bit, actually, right? So moved all the way down to like 7%. Yeah, around 7% or so. Currently sitting at this would be yeah around 7% exact, right? So this right here was a good trade. I do believe I entered this trade within the free group. Let's look. Let's look. Right. So this was on the starting of the week. Starting of the week was the 31st, right? Yeah. So that GBP sorry, GBP sells, right? Price continue playing down. Right. So from the initial move, yeah, that was like pretty nice for everybody that if you caught this trade inside of the inside of the free Discord signals, right? So yeah, yeah, that's pretty nice. Congrats for you guys. Um, yeah, looking forward. Yeah, we could possibly see that continuation moving onwards, right? For the GPCHF. Um, that's around what, two, around 3%, right? So that's around 3% made. If you claim out now, that's good profits actually, right? And the thing is, right, guys, for when you actually trade in, the average percent return for professional traders around like 5% a month or something like that, right? Um, a lot of you guys, when you come new to trading, when you're new to the trading scene, you want to make the biggest set of returns possible, right? And that's just like that's to say that's like a false sort of a false hope, right? For the lack of a better word, right? Because realistically, all you need is 5% a month, right? 5% a month when you end the year, that is over 60% made, right? Over half your account made. Now it depends on how much capital you start with, but that's pretty good. And if you keep on scaling that, you keep on doing what you're doing, then eventually you're able to grow into something great further, even further more, right? So yeah, imagine if you started with $1 million and like prop food money, and you make 50% the ending of the year, right? So that's over 500,000, right? That 500,000 goes into the next year. You make do the same thing, right? So you continuously and gradually grow the account even more, right? That's 750,000, right? And so forth, so forth. So yeah, that's just something that you should take note, right? Um, yeah, so just waiting on this Fed conference. You have 10 minutes on this, right? So I'll probably just end this stream, and depending on what's said, I'll just set it in the group. You can see price rejecting here nicely, so that's what we love to see. Yeah, that candle closure is gonna be pretty nice. Um, yeah. So I'm probably just gonna end it. Whatever happens, I'll actually just point it out in the Discord and Telegram group as well. Let you guys know what's up with these trades because I am entering back at these levels, right? For that continuation back to the downside. Overall, that is my analysis. I'm sticking with it because I don't see anything to show otherwise. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at headspace wise. And we'll see tomorrow. We do have interest rates as well for the GBP coming out at 8 a.m. right? So early morning during the London session, coming to the New York opening. We do have that GBP interest rate as well. We would get a lot of volume from that New York opening, right? So this could be a potential mover again, a swing to the upside for the GBP, right? With the initial buyers, the initial movement, yeah, that's something that we could probably expect. All right, so that's it for this, guys. Thank you for joining in. Hope you found it informational, useful as well. And yeah, we'll just see what goes on as we continue the week. NFP, I would come on, but I'm not going to trade anything on NFP, right? We're just going to look at the chart, see what's happening. Um, we'll play with some probabilities, see in possible areas where we don't gonna trade if we was trading the NFP, and yeah, it'll be a fun session. So thank you guys. Have a good week.